No, I don't want to be in them.
Why not?
Let's stand by Norris.
There we go.
So what are we making for
This is the base of what's going to be our tall 25-inch stack.
the, okay,
So this is the base part of it. It's going to look a bit like a planter. And so we're going to open it at the bottom, bring the sides up, just keeping it a nice thickness, you know, a bit thicker than normal, because it is going to be our base. So we want it to have some rigidity to it to be able to stack on top. So you'll see that as we go. Okay.
what width should it be open to roughly?
I'm sorry.
How wide roughly?
However wide it gets to be when we're done.
Okay,
Yep, we're working our way there. We're starting with 5 pounds because 5 pounds seemed like a really good number. So I go all the way down into the center, just like that, 2 fingers down in. You can do that a million other ways. Oh, and then I need, do you mind? I need that red center finder on the side there. We're going to use that guy now. Remember the bottom of mine, if I'm not going to do any carving on the bottom, it doesn't matter. But now is when I get to use my handy dandy overpriced $30 dealie. Oh no, it's too wide. Okay, we can do that. Okay. So, handy dandy guy goes on the inside. Press that down, bring that out. That's all I need. That's it. I'm not going any further than that. Don't get ostentatious with this guy. All I need to know is, thank you. All I need to know is that depth. I go down to that depth with my fingers. I curl straight back to me with the fingers to open that up, and I'm going to open it up right to there. Okay? Right there. So that's going to give me my 3/8 of an inch base. Just go on the inside, go make sure that that's compressed. And here we go. How am I going to beehive all that clay, right? Two-handed work. Take my sponge, right over the top, right on the very rim. My thumb is going to take care of the bottom. My sponge is going to take care of the rim. I start at the bottom. Press into the center. Oh, you know what? I'm starting out a bit too wide on this bottom, I think. Let's bring that in a bit first. Do a little preliminary here. I got too white here in the bottom. I don't know how that happened. Now, the goal with this is to be able to picture this whole thing, right? Nice and tall. And be able to make sure that I'm not making this as a thin object on the bottom. So I'm just going to take my C shape here. I'm going to compress that top down and get that thickness that I want right there. Okay. And once I have that dialed in, I'm not going to do very many throws from the beehive at all. So this is my kind of beehive shape I had from the start. I may get down here on the bottom. I may just do one skinny throw. And this is what I term as a long pull. You've ever heard that one before? Where I'm doing a throw that is very strict on thickness and doesn't give me very much for throwing lines. Right there. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is your 5-pound base. One of 7 things done tonight.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's
With 5 pounds, holy moly.
That's your base.
So we're trying to leave the side, the base kind of thick,
Mm-hmm.
just leaving it thick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could go a hair thinner with mine, but I think I'm pretty much okay.
So
Can you stop the, I just want to see up there.
Yep. Go ahead. Feel little calipers on the bottom, so it's like that. There. I think that's pretty
is
good.
it thicker at the bottom just a bit?
Well, the bottom is 3/8 of an inch
No,
because
I
we
mean
use the tool.
The bottom of the,
That's tapered a little bit.
okay.
Tapered a little bit. So yep, we can clean up the bottom and put a little wire line in the bottom there, and that's it, guys. This is we're just starting out here. This is a warm up. Okay.
I think I'd like to warm up with something other than the 5 pounds. So what is the 0.85 going to be?
0.85. That's going to be our wine goblet.
Oh, and we're making 2 of them.
Yep.
So let's go straight down when it's just like this.
Yep. And if you need to, if you brought out too far, sometimes with the 5 pounds, it's easy to get
I
out too far.
squeezed it in
Yeah.
That is cheap.
Kind of the golden rule when you stack. And we're just talking stacking now because this happens to be our first thing we made here. Is you always want to err on thick because you can always thin it out later. But you can't make it fatter before you put your top on your next piece on. Okay? So you always want to err on the side of being thicker than what you might think. We don't want to be too thick where we're having to make big alterations with another piece of clay on the top of it, but a little finessing here and there is what you might expect.
So I find sometimes when I'm opening, especially this much clay, I'll kind of knock it out of center. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Is that just because I'm not being careful, you think, or
Slow down just a little bit.
slow it down a little bit?
You guys are both slow down a little bit. I mean, look at how slow I'm throwing.
You were doing that when you were opening it.
Okay. Oh, you got a little bowl-like now, right? Your inside hand's leading the dance over there. All right. This is wheel 3. You're going to get challenged a little bit now, Norm.
That's fine.
It's not Grandma's refrigerator around here, you know. Not everything goes on it. Yep, so 5-pound base is a base. It's not a bowl, it's not a planter, it's not a very large coffee mug. It's a base with probably 12 pounds total clay going on top of it. Right? So it's got to have a substantial structure is what's the important part is. Okay? So the bat that I have is a octagonal bat, which helps with the divisions that I have also with a lot of my stuff. It's by Studio Pro. They are a 1/2 inch thick. They're rigid. They will not bend, they will not move, they will not distort, they will not misshape. And they're probably $2 more than your plastic bats that are making noise right now.
So, I'm trying to color this. Do you think it's beyond repair to get into the deal?
To color in?
Yeah.
I right now it's kind of set in that outside shape right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think right now you probably just have to take that one off, get another 5 pounds, and we'll just reconstitute that one.
Okay.
So what we'll do is make it into kind of a rainbow, what we do, and then we'll put it in front of the fan over here in a rainbow. Once it gets leather hard, we'll wedge it up. Okay?
I'm gonna try using that.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of keep moving through these here. We have a lot to get through today. It's gonna be, again, workshop style, where I'm gonna show you these things that I'm making. You're gonna challenge it if you're at a different spot. Like I said, whatever the case might be, but this is not kind of a give and get. That's kind of wheel 1 and 2, is kind of that give and get, and go around, work on things, stuff like that. It's again like a workshop, and so a workshop would be, unfortunately, something where you go and you watch somebody else work. We don't want it to be that, because we're working at the same time. We want it to be something kind of in the middle. So I will take mine off. I'm going to start in probably about, give you guys 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to start in on the 2.5 pound. I'm going to do one 2.5 pound for you. I'll use a throwing stick on that one so you can see that action. We'll talk about different throwing sticks. And then I'll finish the day with the smaller one. Just doing the elegant finesse type of piece that would be a wine goblet. So we'll finish the day on that one.
Yeah, I like the one, I think, the speedball ones, because
They don't wobble.
they don't wobble quite as much.
Andrew, do you want me to move your clay if the fan is on?
Oh, yeah.
Even though you're in the, oh,
Okay.
you, I'm sorry, sorry, the fan is on.
Alright, now that this base that you're making, once you get that base made, it's going to take a long time for it to dry out. It's not going to be a big deal. You can just leave it out, put it in front of the fan. Probably not going to be dramatically helpful or anything in front of the fan, right? We're not going to work on it again tonight. This is the only part of it that we're going to work tonight. Next time we get together, we're going to take it out. We're going to dry it. We're going to get it ready. We're going to measure it, and do the other segment of it. Then next time we're together, the hope is that by the next time we're together, by the time we're done, that we'll be able to attach all the segments to the top, and we'll have our 25 inches. That's what we're hoping for the next time. Okay? Looks good, Chris. You can leave it just that thick right there.
Is that a good thickness to leave it at? Okay.
Again, we're not making a utilitarian object, so it really doesn't have to be particularly light. It's a more sculptural piece.
Okay. And then make sure the walls are nice and
Yeah, if you're at a point and you'd like to get your 2.5 pounds centered up on the wheel, you certainly can do that if you'd like to. That'll be our next weight. Again, everybody's going to be at different spots. This is just kind of how we're going to be working. The whole time everybody's going to be at different spots. Get more tea and try not to drink my price tag. My tea is worth $80. Press that top down a little bit. You're a little thin there. Now remember you got to make 12 pounds of connection on that
Okay.
little thin rim right there.
It was strange, and then I made a hole that was deeper than the sides came together, and I'm thinking, God, I'm going to my air bubbles. Why did you?
Made one of those out of PVC pipe. I broke my right hand, and then
I can hear it now. Everybody's going to ask you tomorrow. So, how was wheel 3? What's the first thing everybody's going to say? First thing he did was make it for 5 pounds.
I came in Saturday and practiced 5 pounds.
Atta girl.
Actually, I did the week before, the early
Brown
week,
noser.
I tried this week, but yeah, I thought I.
That looks good, Norm.
Yeah, good.
Very nice. All right. 2.5. 2.5. Before I do 2.5, let's do,
Does somebody need,
let's talk about
have me to bench?
Dan Walker's variety So a throwing stick allows your hand, allows an object to get on the inside of a narrow pass when your hand can't get inside. It also allows you to get all the way to the bottom when the top of something gets tight. And so it's for shaping and also for doing lifts. So, just let you guys look at these as you're doing them and as you're working with it. So this is called the potter's thumb. So this is round on the end. And this is from Minnesota Tools. This is the old Kemper one. So this is probably the industry kind of, like if you buy one or you look up one, this is what's going to come up. The Kemper one. This is another variety. This is the MKM variety. Kind of has a rib almost on the end that you use to come up. Sometimes that one's kind of nice towards the top, not towards the bottom. It doesn't work so well. This one, what is this one? I don't even know. But this one, you know, different one on the inside too. These are just ones I kept over the years. And then you've heard of the Hassin tools. Hassin is I would say he's a influencer on the internet. Hassin Chun. He's a great thrower. But he makes wonderful tools too, and they're all made of cocobolo, which is a water-resistant wood from South America. And so I have a couple tools. This is one of his too. So they're all that color. And you get that on Etsy. Just look up Hassin Tools. And that I think is in the tool write-up that I had over there for you. And then this sucker. This is from Mud Tools. I forget what the name of it is, but it's a fun name. But yep, it's got a good ergonomic handle. It's flat on the sides, so when you hold it, it doesn't want to twist as much. And this end, when you get it wet, has a texture to it, and so it's a good feel of a texture. But I use these for because it's exceptionally tall. The one that I have for you guys on the list, I think, is from a company that has lots of selections like this. And so if you'd like to purchase one, I saved for you the one that I think has the best selections. I would select one that's longer than this. This one's only 11.5 inches long. I think there's one on the list that I gave you. If you look it up online, that's 16.5. I definitely would go for that. You can always choke up, but you can't go any longer, kind of a thing. And it's made out of bamboo, particularly like bamboo, because it's naturally, again, water resistant, wears really well, and it's light. So it's great to use. For your purposes today, I will use... Let's go with the Potters. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the cruet blank that we have here. So we're coming up from the bottom. We'll be at about 12 inches tall or so to there. And then we'll bring that top in. And then the spout here is just where you buy these on Amazon. These are just oil cores that go in on the top. So I have to make that to size, which means that I need a spear to use, so I can measure it for size when I get to that top. I don't think I need anything else. That'll do. So I have a few of those to hand out, so you guys can use that when you get to that point as well, to that top. Okay. So we'll show you how we get that done. So again, 2.5 pounds. So when I put it down, I always put it down on the side. I don't want to put it down on the end how I spiraled it, because I don't want that spiral to open up. So just a little thing that I do, I just put it down on the way that you wouldn't think you would, right? Because it's a pill the other way. It's just like custom made to go on there that way, but it's not how we get it done. Okay, again, elbows in, energy going forward, seal the bottom, bring that up, back down again, up, back down again, up, and back down again. Okay, I want to give that a little bit of a pulse in the beginning before I fully bring that up into the cone shape. Coning is real important, particularly in what we're doing here, because we're asking the clay to get real tall for us. So the coning becomes important because we want the clay to not have any air pockets in it, to be uniform. Again, energy always going forward again. Weight of my body, always going forward. Throw from your core. By the way, when I work at home, I never have this. I always have a bucket on the side where I put that in there, keep my water nice and clean. Once your water gets kind of mucky, your throwing gets worse. You gotta have good water. So either I have that stuck against the side of the bucket like that, or else, like I said, I generally will just have a bucket to the side, take it off my hands like this, and this stuff is the gold of the studio, as you know. This is where all your small particles are that you can put back in your mix when you do your pugging. So you never want that to go anywhere near a drain. That is your gold. So again, I go down the inside, open that up down to the bottom. Norm, you still got that? Oh, there's the blue one over there. Got it. And again, I do this just because I want that base to be a size that I predicted. right? Because I'm going to do some carving on that bottom, as I said before. So I use that bottom setter. And now once I open it up just enough inside there to put my fingers in, all I'm going to do is curl that finger towards me to open that up. Right to there. Okay. Same thing had been done before. You just take this outside, make a C out of your fingers. Try this one. Make a C out of your fingers. Don't push on the inside at all. And just bring that up to the top. You can always do that a couple of times if you want to. Just let the inside hand relax. And just let your fingers kind of work with your sponge in order to guide that up like that. Okay, give that a try sometime. Very good feel with that C shape on the outside.
Is it thicker on the bottom than it is on the top?
Right now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, because I have a long ways to go in. So I have to press the pancake in. So I have to go inside here now, and I have to press down hard against the vat. Press that in. Now you see me press out from the inside. My fingers are going to curl up, and I'm going to lift that clay up from the inside. So in other words, I think when you get to about wheel 3, your inside hand is not just a dead space anymore. Your inside hand has to now become part of the activity, if it has not done so already. If you had me for wheel 2, then you probably have a lot of activity going on there. But some people, particularly in wheel 1, that inside hand is a backstop, and that's all it is. But by the time you get in the upper levels, that inside hand becomes much more important. Okay? All right. So now, pressing the pancake in on the bottom. Come out to my saddle on the outside. And I'm going to start to thin the clay now. I don't want to thin the clay so much right now that I'm not able to make it all the way to the top. Because for this particular lift, I need to be able to make it all the way to the top. The next ones I can leave it open, like that. But this one I like to make it all the way to the top, so I don't leave the top too thick for what I'm going to do later. Once you get to about right there, your hand to the outside and collar that in. Okay? You just want to keep that top as narrow as possible. If the top gets out too wide, it's not going to work. Now the reason why I have this sponge, all I did is take a sponge and I cut this wedge out of it. And I like this thicker side and thinner side like that. This thin side is so delicate that you can take it like this and you can round the top of it with the delicate side. The thicker side on this side you can hold with water and it doesn't come out. And you can use that to wet both sides of your pot. Isn't that cool? There you go. You guys can all go home now. You know everything you need to know. All right, go ahead and push this in.
Sometimes it is just that one.
Get my
thing.
final thickness. Now you see my hand made it wider at the top. Keep that in mind. Right there. Okay. So believe it or not, with the shrink of the B-Mix, that's going to be as small as those cruettes over there when you get done. Plus all the shaving and stuff we're going to do on it as well. Okay. It's important for me to know exactly where the bottom of my piece is. So I'm just going to take a little bit off here on this side, so that I know exactly how wide that bottom is now. Okay. I'm going to go down one more time, and when I go down on the inside, this finger right here is going to go straight down to the corner on the bottom. I'm going to bring that straight into that one. It's not going to be over or under the other one. As I come up on the outside, it's going to be just barely a hair underneath. I'm going to balance it. I'm going to balance that clay with those two fingers like that. I'm going to toy with it a little bit until I find a good balance point. And then this is going to be my last pull on this. So this is going to be my final thickness pull. And you can see why I left that top. There we go. And again, this is getting a little wet on the bottom here. I may need to dry this. So I'm going up and down now, finding that spot. Right there is my balance point. See how it's straightened out now? All right. So that's my only job, is to get that from the bottom there. I got a little bit of a lump here. I'm just going to come in with this tool and I'm just going to burnish that just a little bit, just to thicken that up in case that got thin in that spot. There we go. Okay. Because as I mess with the top now, I don't want that bottom twisting on me, and it does happen. Okay, a little bit of water on there. I'm going to have one hand above and one hand below. I'm going to take the bottom, looking straight down the middle. Just going to find that width, and then keep that width all the way to the top, and give that a bit of compression. Okay. So that's my initial thinning job. Okay, I haven't done any finesse with this yet, but right now all I can say is that the clay is pretty much the same thickness all the way through. Okay, now if you have a little bit of water on here, I would recommend that you just take and skim that water off the outside. Now I'm not doing any kind of shaping, I'm not doing anything except going right on the very outside and freeing that up. Why would I want to do that right now?
It starts to get sloppy and hard to work with.
Mm-hmm. With that on the outside, could it dry itself as I'm working? It will always stay moist. And the more that that's inside, the cells inside there as I'm working, continuously is fighting against me. It's continuously more and more making it into mud instead of making it into usable clay. The drier it's getting as I'm working on it, the more it's turning into usable clay. Okay? So getting that off of the outside, particularly if I'm going to ask it to do some things right now, is always a good thing.
How thick do you have those are they on the thicker side?
Right now?
Yeah, it looks pretty, the top looks pretty thin.
Well, it's going to be a thicker object anyways.
But like, how thick would you say it is?
So right now, it's going to go thinner, but right now, it's probably about that thick.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? I told you that energy moving forward is really important. So this is essential exercise number 2, which is a compression lift. Okay? I'm going to do OK fingers on both sides. I'm going to take my thumbs, press forward and up. Energy only going forward and up. Forward and up. See the energy going forward from the side? The wheel is spinning it around, but I am definitely not on center right now. Okay. You don't want to go too far into the clay either. You saw me just on the surface. Yep.
The purpose for this last one, you just took everything off and dried the piece.
Yeah.
And then you reapplied water.
No, I didn't.
Well, on the outside, you put a little bit of water to do the compression, what you call the compression pull.
Right.
What is the purpose for the compression pull? Just to tighten it up a little bit as you're...
Well, you see I gained about ½ an inch, and I evened out all the sides, so now it looks right.
Okay.
Okay, I can do another one if you want to. So again, I have to put a little bit on the surface right there. The surface water is nothing like the water I just took off.
Yeah.
Okay. if you let go of that forward energy right now that's going into it, you're going to lose this ability of what I'm doing. The forward energy is what's important. A continuous and equal forward energy the whole time that I'm coming up. I'm purposely going narrow because I'm going to have to use the throwing stick next, so I purposely made it a little bit more narrow. Okay? So now we're taller yet, right? But what happens when you squish the clay in? It becomes thicker or not thicker?
Thicker.
It becomes thicker. So now I have thick clay, thicker than I'd like to have. So that's when this monster comes in here. One time. It's going to go all the way, and I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm just going to relax, maybe have a little bit of my drink. Just going to sit there. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to push that out into a bump. Right there. You see it? And now I'm going to go underneath that bump. I don't usually do it with my sponge, but I think I'm going to. And I'm going to press that back into where I want it to be. I'm using my finger to literally lift the piece of wood on the inside. The clay just happens to be in the way. Okay? Now I usually stop about there because I'm starting to get kind of, where I could have a better handle on it, right? So I stop. Bring this down. I'm going to use a sponge this time. Let's see what we can do. Okay, right in the groove again. Right there. Now when you get to the top, it's easy to press in too far. But that's okay. All I got to do is come down and reestablish that width.
Are you just thinning it out right now, or are you making it narrower?
I am thinning it out, and if it gets narrower, then we'll deal with that later. Okay. Do that one more time. All the way to the bottom. And what do I do next? Make a bump, thank you. Get underneath my bump with my fingers, sponge, whatever I want to do. I'll do sponge again this time. You see where that bump is? That's a piece of wood right there on the inside. I'm just lifting that piece of wood in tandem with what my fingers are doing. Okay, I think I'm getting thin right there, so I'm just going to lose my bump. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, that seems tricky because you can't really feel.
I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get it out of the box. All right. All right. Again, I got a little bit of soup on the outside here, so again, I'm just skimming the surface. You do this with metal rib, wooden rib, whatever. I'm just going to take that slurry off the outside. Again, that slurry, I think that slurry will kill you, It's not good stuff. All right, so now on the top, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a bump again, and I'm going to lift underneath that bump. The bump is the registration, right? So the bump is the registration. There's my bump. Get my thumb right underneath, and this is Norm's favorite move. And lift from there. You'll notice that however big I make the bump on the top doesn't matter. My finger on the bottom is what designates that lift. Okay? So that bump on the top, you almost think about it stretching before you push it back into place with your bottom hand.
You do it with your hand.
What's that?
I was just trying to see how you're holding it.
It's getting wide here.
No, is it like,
Messing
See,
with your
this is
clay.
when it's when you're like this, it's like super
Yeah.
We'll do that again sometime. All right, so in comes the top now. So I got this up. Okay. So I think it's a little, God, it looks a little wide yet. Let me do one more compression lift here. just to clean this in just a little bit. So I'm going to take this in just a little bit. Again, energy going forward, bottom to the top. You get a little wiggle, by the way. It's not a big deal. Just got to go through it. Got a little bit of water here. It's getting a little tacky on me. That's why I lost it for a second. Not wiggling because I have my energy going forward and because I have that piece actually off center from the side. So now it's a better shape, right? So that's why I did that again, because I can get that better shape. Let's bring that top in. Okay, fingers on both sides. This part of my finger is what's going to do the work right here. Watch it. See it right there? Right on that side. Pinch in with your thumbs. There you go. You see that? This part of the finger, I did that. And then after I have it captured with these two parts, I push my thumbs in.
I always twist when I do that. Like,
Now I got another inch I can get. Watch it. What, you see the hand now? Watch it. This
Okay.
is coming again. Okay. Bump out. There it is. Right over top of that thumb. And lip. Want to keep it nice and straight. I'm going to get another inch out of this right now. Here we go. I can get another half an inch. There we go. Why? Because when I pushed that in, what happened to the clay? It thickened up, right? So now I can bring that up a little bit more. Okay? So now I bring that up. I'm going to bring that up to a hard edge. I'm going to have a hard turn at the top. Right there. And now I'll bring this in. Bring that inside fingers up, right over top of the outside thumb. Again, you want to press it in. See, I'm not pressing at the top. I'm below the rim, right? Okay. Okay. If you need to cut that top, you can. I'll probably trim that a little bit. How do you trim the top? Okay, fingers again. This part of the finger does the work. Put it right on your thumb. Push that in. Get inside and lift it right up. Okay.
how do you know that you have the opening the correct size for the oil stopper?
I don't.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
You just hope? What? Have you just done enough of
Ponytails.
them where...
No. I have my example.
Oh, but it's going to shrink.
Then I have to imagine it shrunk. Too skinny. Now remember, we're tapered, right? We're tapered. See that?
Oh, yeah.
We're tapered. Perfect. Got it?
But it's gonna shrink, well, it'll compress.
It will
when you-
shrink, but it's too big right now.
Well, and these
Yeah,
are
you
like
can go all the
kind
way
of
down in. It's
flexible,
too big,
right?
see?
Like you can...
Too
Okay,
big.
so this is the right size for it right
They're
now.
pretty flexible.
No, it would fall out.
Okay.
Yeah, these are like, you can shove it in there if it's
Yeah.
little.
Well, a little bit, but if it's too tight, when you try to put it in there, it'll just like pop back up a little bit again.
Yeah.
So you got to get close. All right, so finishing. So on the bottom here, I'm just going to take this, get a little area for my wire to go in. I got a lot of water in there, Norm. What am I going to do to get that water out?
Flip it over.
You have been in too many classes with me. All right, with that, the last thing I want to do is I want to take my metal rib. Here, borrow that from you for a minute. And from the top, I'm going to just take a moment and I'm just going to skim that last little bit off the outside. Not only is it going to cause this to dry quite a bit for me, but you'll see in a second that it's going to be really a valuable step. Look at all that slurry on there, right? That has to come off. Okay, dry your hands. Okay. All compressed, not sticking to my hands. All right, all ready to go. So we'll put this one over here by this. All that clay has been compressed and ready.
No, go
I already forgot all
no,
the steps.
do 2 of these here.
That's it.
Right.
We have 10 minutes.
That's it. Let's go.
Go get her, guys. We will go to, so I was able to pick that off of there because I got the slurry off the outside, dried my hands, so I had dry clay, dry hands. And you can do that with any piece that you have. So keeping it, I don't keep anything on bats anymore, you can get it off, dries faster. And particularly those because you want to flip it and get that water out of the inside. So you want to just make sure that everything is kosher.
What would have happened if you had tried flipping the water out before you cut it off the bat? Would that have worked as well?
Well, what happens is it because it's being held by the bat when you flip the whole thing over, it has a bend to it and the bottom tends to get flexed.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the action of the bat flipping twists the bottom of it a little bit.
Okay.
So you're better off, I've tried it both ways, but it's just too tall that way. So it has more, like an elephant trunk, it has more weight at the bottom, so it really affects
Okay.
the bottom of the piece. So we'll show you the compress and lift one more time. So from the outside now I'm going to use my OK hands like this. This is going to be my contact point right here, this long part of my fingers. In that spot. Put my thumbs in. You'll see that my knuckles on my first fingers are a little bit higher. I have forward energy and upward energy only. I'm not going just straight up, I'm keeping my energy going forward. And this is what helps with the stability of the entire piece. Once I feel my energy not going forward anymore, whole thing goes wonky. Okay? It's like one of Norm's little bottles. Alright, so now I brought it in a little bit. Now I'm ready to bring it back out with my throwing stick. Oh no. Coming down. Woo!
they don't have to be the same size, right?
Of course not. Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "If you want what I got, you have to have done what I've done." So I always, when I kind of learn about other artists and stuff, I love going to workshops because I get kind of a glimpse of, I'm not so interested in what they can do, I'm interested in what they did to get there, you know? Because I want to do that, and I know I need to do that before I can do what they're doing right now. You know what I mean? That's good. That's the only thing I needed to know. Got to go ahead. I'm gonna work until 8:30. You're welcome to work with 8:30 with me. 8:30 is technically when we're done. If you wanna, if you have obligations or whatever and you need to leave early, that's perfectly fine. I'm working till 8:30.
Would going to bed be an obligation? Is that
Get enough sleep when you're dead. I'm not done yet. I'm going to 8:30. I'm gonna do one more of these. I'm gonna hold off, and we'll just, if it's okay, we'll just do the wine goblets next time. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That'll be a good thing to start with maybe next time with the wine goblets. Okay, 5 pounds today, and then 0.8 pounds. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay, good. No squabbling. Then the second day he starts out with 0.8 pounds. You do get faster at these after you make 100 of them. CIA background. No pictures, please. Could I get that red centering thing in? Ooh, it's so clean.
I used
Oh, you used it already?
I have this.
Oh, you got the blue one. Good for you.
But the other thing that's different is saying,
Chris, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was having the drawing stick threw me off a little bit in terms of pulling with it.
Uh-huh.
Stretched, but pulling was a little bit different. I actually had, where did it go, a slightly easier time for whatever reason with my wooden spoon than
Okay.
I did with the drawing stick.
All right.
And it seems counterintuitive because it's not rounded.
Maybe it's counterintuitive because you haven't used it before, but you have used your spoon.
Yeah, I'm sure that. Is it possible to try measuring with the stopper? Just out of curiosity.
What's that?
Grab the stopper from.
over there by the,
It should be just big enough for the top, not the outer portion, but the top.
It should fit inside perfectly right now. Too big.
Too big.
The rubber part of it on the bottom should slide in and out freely
Okay.
against the walls. Who, me?
Well, it might be too thin. I may have gotten height, but then I may have thinned it
Right.
on the gobble.
Well, it's not really a problem. It's just you have a different operation you can do on the outside. Yeah, you won't be able to do the Sureform tool because you'll get too thin with it. So you won't be able to square it off on the outside. But we have ways of working around that.
Right here.
Yep.
Do you want us to just make those 3 pieces? Or
Yep,
do you
that's all we're gonna get
want
in.
the jug?
That's all we're gonna get in today. We'll have to make the jug next time. Yep. For sure have to make